Blackness. Suffocating, absolute. Then the acrid sting of smoke. Marco coughed, struggling to his feet, heart hammering against his ribs. Where was he? Disoriented, he stumbled through the remnants of his village, the air thick with the stench of ash and fear. His eyes, adjusting to the dim light of the smoldering fires, searched frantically for his little brother. Leo? Where was Leo? A chilling emptiness echoed in his gut. Leo was gone. The last memory flickered, unwelcome but vivid. Leo, clutching his wooden toy soldier, his eyes wide with terror as the raiders stormed their hut. The sickening crunch of metal on bone, screams swallowed by the chaos. Marco shook his head, banishing the memory. He had to find Leo, he had to. Days bled into weeks. Marco scoured the wastelands, following whispers, chasing shadows. Each dead end deepened the despair that threatened to consume him. He clung to the memory of Leo's laughter, the warmth of his hand in his, fueling his dwindling hope. Then a breakthrough. A scrap of cloth snagged on a charred tree branch, the fabric dyed the distinctive crimson of the Syndicate. Marco recognized it from the raiders, his blood ran cold. The Syndicate. Ruthless slavers who ruled the islands with an iron fist. Legends whispered of their brutality, their merciless grip on the shattered remnants of civilization. Marco's heart pounded in his chest, a mixture of fear and grim determination. They had Leo, and he would move heaven and earth to get him back. Following the trail of the crimson cloth, Marco journeyed across desolate landscapes, his only companions the ghosts of his past and the unforgiving wind. He learned to navigate by the stars, to read the language of the wilderness, to survive. His quest led him to the coast, where a rickety fishing vessel awaited. The fisherman, his face etched with a lifetime of hardship, eyed Marco with wary curiosity, heard whispers, the fisherman rasped, his voice rough like gravel. Boy looking for answers, dangerous answers, Syndicate answers. Marco's silence spoke volumes. The fisherman nodded, a grim understanding passing between them. Get in, boy. The serpent's teeth await. Marco stepped onto the boat, the creaking wood a testament to the perilous journey ahead. His journey to the islands of the Syndicate had begun. The islands rose from the sea like jagged teeth shrouded in mist and menace. Each island was ruled by a different leader of the Syndicate, their cruelty legendary. There was Viper, the cunning strategist, his eyes like chips of ice. Hammer, the brutal enforcer, his massive arms capable of crushing a man's skull with ease. Whisper, the master manipulator, her beauty as deadly as any blade. Ghost, the silent assassin, his presence felt but never seen. And finally the Serpent, the enigmatic leader, his face hidden behind an iron mask, his motives shrouded in mystery. Marco learned of their reign of terror from the whispers of slaves, their voices hushed, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and defiance. He saw the scars of the Syndicate's cruelty etched on their bodies, heard the echoes of their pain in their stories. His resolve hardened. He would face these monsters. He would tear down their empire, brick by bloody brick, to save his brother. Section 5, Trial by Fire. Each island became a crucible, testing Marco's limits. He fought his way through hordes of mercenaries, their faces twisted by greed and cruelty. He battled grotesque creatures mutated by the ash and the despair that clung to the islands like a shroud. Each victory, however hard won, brought him closer to Leo. He collected information, piecing together the Syndicate's operations, their movements, their weaknesses. He learned to use the environment to his advantage, the shadows his allies, his anger his weapon. He forged alliances with other desperate souls, slaves yearning for freedom, their hatred for the Syndicate a shared language. He wasn't just fighting for Leo anymore, he was fighting for them all. Section 6, Crumbling Empire. One by one, Marco brought the Syndicate leaders down. Viper, undone by his own arrogance, met his end in a fiery explosion. Hammer, his brute strength no match for Marco's cunning, fell into a chasm of his own making. Whisper, her web of lies unraveling, was consumed by the very shadows she sought to control. Ghost, finally revealed, fell to the blade of the very sword he had wielded for so long. With each fallen leader, the islands trembled, the hold of the Syndicate weakening. Hope, like a fragile flower pushing through the cracks in the wasteland, began to bloom in the hearts of the oppressed. But the final confrontation awaited. The Serpent, the source of the island's misery, remained. Section 7, Revelations Light. The Serpent's fortress loomed, a monolith of obsidian and steel, a testament to his power. Marco infiltrated the fortress, his path lit by the flickering flames of rebellion. He finally reached the Serpent's chambers, his heart pounding in his chest. The iron mask lay discarded on the floor, and there, standing by the window, was Leo. But something was wrong. Leo! Marco breathed, his voice hoarse with disbelief. Leo turned, his eyes not filled with the joy of reunion, but with a cold, calculating light. "He's gone, Marco," Leo said, his voice devoid of emotion. "I am the serpent now." The man standing next to Leo turned, and Marco's blood ran cold. It was their father, long thought dead. He explained how he had infiltrated the Syndicate, how he had used them to gain power, how he had groomed Leo to be his successor. Section 8, The Weight of Choice. "Join us, Marco," their father said, his voice laced with chilling persuasion. "Together we can rule these islands. We can bring order to this chaos." Marco stared at his brother, his heart shattering. The boy he knew, the innocent laughter, the shared dreams, it was all gone, replaced by something cold and calculating. The weight of his choice pressed down on him, heavier than the sky. Could he fight his own blood? Could he condemn his brother, even if it meant saving the islands from his father's tyranny? The silence stretched, taut with tension. The fate of the islands, the lives of countless innocents, hung in the balance. Section 9, Vanishing Point. Years later, the legends of the islands would speak of the night the serpent vanished. Some whispered of a final desperate battle, of brother turning against brother. Others spoke of a blinding light, of a power unleashed that shook the very foundations of the islands. The truth, like so much else in the islands of ash and blood, remained shrouded in mystery. The fisherman, older now, his face even more weathered by time and hardship, would tell stories of the boy who came to the islands seeking his brother, the boy who vanished into legend. He would stare out at the churning sea, his eyes filled with a strange mixture of sorrow and hope. "He'll be back," the fisherman would murmur, more to himself than to anyone else. "One day he'll be back."